Hello everybody, welcome to today's class. How are we? Thank you so much for your patience. I know it was a busy week, really busy week. Mocks are over now. I know you did well, right? Yeah, I know that. I know you did well, right? Okay, now the next thing is today we are going to talk about multiplication of algebra. I'm going to make another video about the mocks and the comments and the messages that I received and the requests that I received. I will make yet another video about that, but like this one is just for the learning. Let's say today's topic is multiplication. Multiplication in algebra. It's very, very, very important. If you manage to know this topic, then only you can further proceed with factorization. So we need to know multiplication first. Now, there are few things that you need to know before we start multiplication. There are few rules that we have in algebra about the multiplication, right? And these rules are in here, as you can see. Look, the first thing is commutative property. Now, what exactly commutative property is? So commutative property means 3 times 5 is 15 and 5 times 3 is 15. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, right? So basically, when you change the order of the terms while multiplication in algebra, that makes no difference. No difference means no difference. You can change the order of terms while multiplying in algebra. That property is called commutative property. Now the next thing is associative property. Now what exactly that means? As you can see, 2 times 3, it's a pair, it's a group, it's a pair, it's a group in a bracket times 4 is equal to 24. Then I made a pair of 2 and 3 in this case, and in the second case I have made a pair of 3 and 4. So 2 times 3 times 4, different pair, still 24. So what exactly that means is when you change the order of pairs in algebra while multiplication, it's make no difference. You're allowed to do that. You can do that. Now, these are the 2 properties that you need to know. I'm sure you heard about these properties in the chapter called sets. Do you remember the chapter called sets? But if not, I will be covering that chapter soon, very soon. Now, it's holidays, not going anywhere. Going to make like 15, 20 videos. No, that's too much. Going to make like 10, 12 videos. Okay, at least 10 videos during this holidays. Probably, you never know, maybe more. Now, the next thing, while multiplying, you need to know that you know what terms are, right? You know what terms are. I can see you have actually followed my classes. You actually followed my classes on YouTube and on TikTok and on Instagram. Thank you so much for your support. Now, I will make another video for thanking you. I know that. Just give me some time. Now, let's talk about the another rule. So let's say coefficient. You know what coefficients are, right? Coefficients are actually the number before the variable that we are actually multiplying with variable. You know that very well, right? So coefficient is multiplied with coefficient. When you are multiplying 2 terms in algebra, the coefficient will be multiplying with coefficient, right? And the second thing is the variable will be multiplying with the variable. So the variable, you know the letters A, B, C, right? X, Y, Z. All these letters are called variables in algebra. So now when you are actually multiplying 2 terms in algebra, the coefficient multiply with coefficient, the variable multiply with variable. Now, when multiplying terms, remember, we add the power or indices. We add power or indices. Example, you can say, now, one thing in here you need to notice, the variable has to be same. When you are multiplying same variables, in this, same word is missing. When you are multiplying same variables, example is given in here. When you multiplying the same variables and the powers of those variables, power, indices, 2 raised to, all those different words for the same thing, they add up. Let's say in here in journal we have an example, a to the power p multiply a to the power q. That will give us a to the power p plus q. Now let's say as an example, let's say x square multiplied by x cube. That means x to plus 3. That will give us x to the power 5. Now see, x same. It has to be same x. If they are not same, you cannot do this operation in that case. You cannot. Now, there is a whole big chapter about indices in our curriculum. And we have like 9-10 rules about the curriculum. So about the powers, they're actually talking about the only powers in those chapters. So I will cover that chapter very soon, certainly in this midterm break, definitely. Now, let's do some questions. Now, let's do some questions on production. So yeah, product is another name for multiplication. You know that, right? Product is yet another name for multiplication. Now, what exactly? And let's start from the basics, right? Let's start from the basics. Let's say we have 2, right? Let's say we have 2, and in a bracket I have 7x, right? So that means 2 will be multiplied with the 7. Number always multiply with number. You cannot multiply a number with a variable. The variable will stay the way it is in there. So in this case, 2 times 7 is 14x. That's my answer, right? Let's do another question. Let's say we have 2y times 3y. Now, in this case, you can see we have coefficient, and we have variables. So coefficient, according to the rule that we did, coefficient will be multiplied with the coefficient, and variable will be multiplying with the variable. So in this case, how can you say 2 times 2 or y times y, right? So that will give us 6y squared. If there is nothing on the top, if there is no power on the top of variable, it's considered as 1. Okay, so that's the 6y squared is the answer. Let's do another question. Let's say you have 3x times minus 3x squared. Now, here we have a negative sign. Now, you cannot ignore the negative signs in mathematics. You know that very well, right? So, 3 times minus 3 is, what's 3 times minus 3 is? Minus 9, right? Minus 9. Okay, what's x times x squared? See, x times x squared. The power will be add 1 plus 2. That will be x cubed. So, that will be minus 9x cubed. Okay, let's do one more little complicated question with same signs. Let's do a question with same sign. So let's say if you have minus 2x times minus 7x, right? In this case, minus 2 times minus 7, that's 14 plus 14. When you multiply minus minus, the sign will be positive. X times x, x squared. That's my answer. Now, that was the story about the same variables. When you have same variables, right? When you have same variables, that's how you do the questions. Let's say you have different variables. Let's say 3x times 2y. Now, as I told you, the rule that was there on the screen a couple of minutes before, you cannot apply that rule when you have different variables. So what exactly are we going to do in here? So 3 times 2 is 6. X times y is xy. X times y is xy. That's all. X times y is xy. It's not xy to the power something something. It's not that. It's not that case. Just don't forget. Now let's do one more question. Let's say we have a question of 2 brackets, right? Let's say we have a question of 2 brackets. Let's say 2x minus 3 bracket 3x plus 4. Now, that's the question. Now, what exactly, follow the step, please. What exactly are you going to do? You see, there are 4 different terms in this question. There are 4 different terms. This, and this, right? Now, what exactly are we going to do? We're going to pick one term first. We're going to pick one term first, and we will multiply that term with the entire whole bracket, other second bracket. So let's say 2x. That's our first term. We're going to pick that one. Now, multiply with 3x plus 4, right? That's what we did. Now, we're going to pick the second term, which is minus 3. Never, ever, ever, ever ignore the negative sign. You are not allowed to do that. You cannot ignore the negative sign. Okay, so minus 3, 3x plus 4, right? You see, 2. Now, it's a simple multiplication then you need to do. 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x squared. 2 times 4 is 8. X will stay the way it is. So now, 3 times 3 is 9. Minus 3 times 3 is minus 9. X will stay the way it is. Minus 3 times plus 4 is minus 12. Minus 12. Now, you can see in here, we have something else. These two terms, x, we can simplify them. We can actually simplify them further. So the further will be 6x squared minus x minus 12. That will be the answer in case of two brackets. And that's all about multiplication. Now, there will be few questions by end of this video I'm going to post. You check those questions and practice those questions. And that's the topic of multiplication. And soon we will talk about the factorization in the next topic. Now listen, be nice. Thank you so much for watching my videos. And don't be bully. Be respectful to your teachers. And let's make this world a better place. I'll see you around. Thank you.